Well, first, one college football story I did want to talk about. I thought it was kind of funny. So everybody knows how much of a big Miami Hurricanes fan I am. Everybody knows how hyped I was for Cam Ward to come to Miami. Now Cam Ward he was a Heisman Trophy finalist, set Miami Hurricane records in passing touchdowns, and really overall just had one of the best seasons a Hurricanes quarterback has ever had. And yet it still wasn't enough to get into the college football playoff. How well they would have done, I don't know, just because our defense was so poor and terrible. But again, I was very critical of how Miami's quarterback situation would be after Cam Ward would be leaving for the draft. And I knew for a fact that, and I said it weeks ago, that if you walked Emory Williams out against Notre Dame, the possible national champions, in a week's time, if you walk Emory Williams out against Notre Dame, it would be a long, long season for the Hurricanes. Well, that changed this past weekend when Carson Beck, former quarterback at Georgia, committed to the University of Miami. And I can't think of a bigger way a college athlete has given a certain program the middle finger. Carson Beck, as we all know, played for Georgia, has been part of so many great teams that the Georgia Bulldogs have fielded over the past 2 years. Obviously, Beck was backing up Stetson Bennett when he was at Georgia, winning the national title over TCU in that bloodbath of a game. But Carson Beck had season-ending surgery after the SEC title game and was unavailable for the college football playoff, which ultimately led to Georgia losing to Notre Dame 23-10. Carson Beck originally put his name in for the NFL draft. Originally. But, it's kind of like how Cam Ward did it last year. He originally put his name in for the NFL draft, but a lot of scouts, probably some family, decide no, I think going back to college for one more year would do him some good. Now Cam Ward is looked at as a top 5 draft pick, and he will be a top 5 draft pick in this year's NFL draft. That's because he stayed one more year and lit it up at Miami. Well, Carson Beck, similar situation. He put his name in the draft and then recanted and basically said, bye, Georgia. Basically gave them the middle finger. Basically gave Kirby Smart and the entire program a middle finger on the way out. He didn't even go back to Georgia. He went to the University of Miami. And, I think he wants to play in the NFL. I think Carson Beck, even though I've been very critical of him over this past year, I've been very, very critical because of all the interceptions he's thrown. But he's still a top-tier quarterback in college football and has been for the better part of his entire career at Georgia. Now, why did he go to Miami? I saw his NIL deal. He's making $4 million. That's more than some starting quarterbacks in the NFL right now, like Anthony Richardson from the Colts. So why wouldn't you want to stay one more year? Miami money, man. They got money to burn. So that's a small little announcement I'm very excited about. I was very pessimistic heading into next year. But we got a new defensive coordinator, and now we got a quarterback. I think the Hurricanes, we're going to see how it goes next year. But Carson Beck leaves Georgia and Kirby Smart, and he is heading to the University of Miami for his final year of college football.